Alphabetical and arranged, CBC folks. Gamer hi. In is my name, order review today's. Nah, not really. So today we're going to look at a fun little game called Sweevo's World. It was released in 1986 by Gargoyle Games, who were actually pretty good back in the day. I don't know what happened to them after the CPC stopped being popular. The CPC was never popular. I just know that the games they did crank out were top notch. So, my reason for picking this game in particular, aside from the fact that I played it and you guys probably didn't, is because it is odd. Now, it cannot be denied that there were lots of games for the 8-bit consoles that had absolutely ridiculous plots. One minute, the president was getting kidnapped by ninjas, and the next, army generals were turning into razor-haired ballet dancers. Sweevo's World is our contribution to the demented video game pool. Sweevo's World is an isometric exploration game. There were loads of these for the CPC. There were more isometric exploration games then than there are World War II shoot-em-ups now. But what sets Sweevo's World apart from the others is the sheer randomness of the game. But before we get on to that, let's meet our hero, shall we? He is a robot named Sweevo, which stands for Self-Willed Extreme Environmental Volitional Organism. In short, Sweevo is a robot whose primary task is to run around tidying up. Yes, before we were treated to Captain Planet, Widget the World Watcher, and all that other ecologically conscious junk, we were given Sweevo. Sweevo looks like something. It's not that he's hard to describe, it's just that he's depicted in so many different ways it's hard to know which one he's supposed to be. Let me show you. This is Sweevo on the game's title screen. This is Sweevo's health bar, and this is Sweevo's sprite. So he either looks like Stan Laurel, Zordon, or E.T.'s good-looking cousin. And it doesn't stop there. The sequel to Sweevo's World showed him with 2 other designs. Still, what he looks like isn't really important, right? It's what's on the inside that counts, right? Well, regardless of how he's built, Sweevo appears to be in some kind of giant intergalactic slot machine. At least that would explain the fruit motif it's got going on. As for why the fruit is deadly, I just don't know. But it is, and touching it will make Sweevo lose some of his health. At this point, I'd like to take a slight diversion and refer you back to my fast food video. You remember how I said programming companies would give us bad advice and just not care? Sweevo's World is one such example. Fruit is bad for you, kids! Scattered around the maps, you can find several items. You've got tin cans, boots, teddy bears, and the word boo. Sweevo can carry 3 items at any given time. He can also drop them, which helps him to form rudimentary platforms, as well as giving him a means of killing enemies. However, killing an enemy isn't as simple as just dropping an item on their head. Each enemy has to be killed with a specific item. If you hit an enemy with the wrong item, you'll just end up losing it. This was, and still is actually, a source of much confusion for me, since some of the combinations seem pretty arbitrary to me. Why does the guy with a cherry for a head die from a boot to the head? Why do the little girls cower in terror at the teddy bear? Why, I ask you, why? Who knows? One enemy that cannot be killed, and, of course, appears the most, is a giant middle finger that pops up out of the ground. If Sweevo is stood on the same square as the finger, he instantly loses a life. And it's somewhat disheartening to see the game literally flip you off as it kills you. At least Rick Dangerous did it behind the scenes, it didn't make you watch it. As a child, I never really understood the point of Sweevo's World. But at that time, I wasn't really driven by goals and silly concepts like winning. I was just happy to have fun and play my game. Now that I'm older, I do enjoy winning things, so I looked up the point of Sweevo's World to see if I could find out how I could vanquish it once and for all. You can't. The idea of the game is that you play it, you get a game over, and then you play it again for a higher score. I don't know how you'd react, but after 15 years, that news made me want to resurrect Gargoyle Games just so I could burn it back down to the ground for making me waste my time. So I'm going to go work on doing that. You guys have fun, go and play some good games, and until next time, goodbye.